In light of the recent Liver King controversy, today we're going to do a deep dive into some of the dietary habits of the Liver King and also talk about some of the common questions surrounding diets like his, including, is eating liver actually a healthy thing? Is eating raw liver better than traditional liver? And is a diet like his really as healthy as he claims? All of that and more, including my cat, in today's video. So if you're not familiar with the Liver King, he has really grown in popularity over the past year. He has gone from very little, if no following at all, to 1.7 million followers on Instagram in like a year. He's known for his process called the 9 ancestral tenants, which essentially is built and designed to help weak men, his words, not mine, go from weak to meeting their fullest potential. The ancestral tenets that he talks about include eat, sleep, move, shield, connect, cold, sun, fight, and bond. And while I admit not all of the 9 ancestral tenets are really a bad thing per se, the dietary or eat component includes eating things like raw liver, raw hearts, and other raw meats from animals. If you have a sensitive stomach, I don't recommend checking out his Instagram page. It's pretty disgusting. As for the recent controversy, I will leave some videos in the description below if you want to dive really deep into this, but for the sake of this video, the recap and kind of the nutshell of the recent controversy is that he is someone that claims to be, quote, what they call natty, which in other words is just male bodybuilding speak for not taking steroids. And he has gone on podcast after podcast claiming that he is all natural and does not take any steroids. And what do you think happens next? Lo and behold, there is email evidence leaked into the internets that says this guy is taking anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000 worth of steroids each month. Not each year, each month. So first, let's watch a video where he talks about his dietary habits, and we'll do more of a candid discussion about that. And then we'll also get into some of the questions that we talked about at the beginning of the video. Also, by the way, if you're new, hello and welcome. My name is Katie. I'm a registered dietitian and certified personal trainer. And here on the channel, we talk about all things functional nutrition, mindful eating, and fitness. So if that interests you and you enjoy this video, then consider subscribing. Maya, I'm gonna have to sit this on you.
What does your diet look like?
Liver. I do liver and bone marrow with every meal. So I do liver and bone marrow. I do raw fertilized eggs. And so with breakfast, it's liver, bone marrow, raw fertilized eggs. It's a Liver King bar. It's a whole beef shake. It's some yogurt. So there's a lot of whole foods in there.
I thought he didn't eat anything but raw liver and keto, but maybe I'm wrong.
And so that's my breakfast pretty much every day. And again, most of it is just whole foods. And then you look at my lunch, it's pretty similar because these are my after workout meals. And then dinner still has liver and bone marrow in it, but it's usually almost always nose to tail stuff. We have raw testicle, we have raw heart. We always have some kind of raw organ on the menu every single day. In addition to the liver and bone marrow, we have some additional raw organs that's on there.
What do you have any cravings and stuff like that? Like, and has that previously ever been a problem for you?
It has been a problem. And I'm just gonna have to laugh about this because I know my kids are gonna think this is so hilarious because it's so true. We had been living haphazardly into this lifestyle. We had been eating the right way, but not doing all 9 ancestral tenets. And then we were in a vacation at the Grand Velas in Mexico. And they brought like some pastries. And of course we ate all the stuff we're supposed to eat, but now everybody's getting ready to go out and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna eat these pastries. And I eat these pastries, and Rad still gives me shit about this today. I craved it. I wanted it. It almost was like I couldn't help myself.
It really doesn't surprise me that he experiences cravings because especially if you're someone who has a very rigid or strict diet, or you're having a lot of proteins and fats maybe, but not a lot of carbs, craving sweets really makes sense to me because psychologically and physically your body is going to be craving the balance because carbs are your body's preferred source of fuel for your brain and your muscles, everything else. Carbs are what's called protein and fat sparing. So when you have an adequate amount of carbs, the protein can do what it's meant to do, like build healthy hair, skin, and nails, and also muscle synthesis. And dietary fats can be used for what it's designed to, which is typically most notably hormones.
The deal is I believe this is why the 9 ancestral tenants is so important, because you could just be missing one of them, like sleep. You could be missing fight. You could be missing bonds. You could be missing the thermal pressures. When you embrace all 9 of these, I believe you're so satiated, you're so fulfilled, that there's no food that you crave anymore. There's no bad food that you crave anymore. I do crave liver. I would have never thought in a million years I would have ever craved liver. I crave liver now.
Let's talk about what he just said about when you do certain lifestyle changes, you'll never crave sweets again. I have to disagree with that. I think that cravings are so dynamic and there's so many different reasons why we crave certain foods. Just because your nutrients are fulfilled doesn't mean that you'll never ever have cravings, because cravings are psychological, they are physical. Sometimes they are mouth hunger, where we just are hungry because we want to have a certain mouth feel. And actually, that's funny that this video mentions it, because I'm going to be filming a video very soon about the 7 different types of hunger and how understanding each type of hunger is going to change your life. So I'll leave that in the description below if you want to check that out. But yeah, it's not so simple as like, if your diet is perfect, you'll never have cravings. Our body just really doesn't work like that, because food is very much physical and psychological. It's not just a black and white thing. It's interesting to hear some of his dietary habits and cravings and stuff like that. You know, I think some of the things that he promotes in terms of lifestyle changes aren't necessarily a bad thing. Yes, we all need better sleep. Yes, we all need to have community and to feel a part of something. Yes, we need to eat a healthy diet full of nutrients. All these different dynamic parts of our life, that's what makes our health. It's not just exercise, it's not just physical activity, and it's not just stress management. It's a culmination of all different types of things. So that is one thing that I have to say, of course, I do agree with. Now, again, some of the dietary choices or recommendations that he kind of touts as being a part of his physique is where I have more of an issue. Let's start with question number 1. Is liver bad for you? Is that something that he shouldn't be promoting? Not necessarily. The Liver King isn't exactly wrong here. The liver is full of nutrients. So if you eat animal liver of any type, you are getting a lot of vitamins and minerals. It's known to be one of the most nutrient-dense foods out there. Now, the problem lies in, do you actually want to eat liver? Let me know in the comment section below. Would you have liver, or have you had liver, and what are your thoughts? Do you enjoy it? Do you not enjoy it? Do you take a supplement instead? Let me know in the comment section below. So yes, it is full of nutrients, and that can be a good thing if you are someone who is looking to have more nutrient-packed foods in your diet. But it can also have some caveats to it. Animal liver is extremely high in vitamin A and in copper. In fact, a 100-gram portion of beef liver contains more than 600% the recommended daily intake, or RDI, of vitamin A, and 400 to 700% of the RDI of copper. Eating large amounts of liver can potentially lead to things like vitamin A toxicity, or hypervitaminosis A, and copper toxicity. You will run across this problem in fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, and K, because they are fat-soluble, which means they can be stored in your body's tissues, versus a water-soluble vitamin that once you meet your recommended needs or your body's, adequate proportions, then you just urinate out the rest. That's why you see a really extremely yellow pee when you take a multivitamin. It's because your body is just getting rid of any excess. Nausea, vomiting, fever, loss of consciousness can be all signs of an overdose on vitamin A. And as for copper, while it can be pretty rare to experience copper toxicity, eating lots of liver can introduce that risk into someone's life. In very severe cases, it can lead to liver failure and even death. So all of that said, this is not said to scare you, simply to let you know some of the potential implications when you are having excessive amounts of liver and organs in your diet, which the Liver King does promote. Common question number 2 is eating raw liver okay? And my short answer is, I wouldn't do it. Do some people do it? Yes. But is the risk for food poisoning super high? Also yes. Eating raw liver can lead to food poisoning like Campylobacter, Salmonella, and E. coli. And it doesn't matter how fresh the meat is, you can still run this risk. And pulling from Reddit and the Liver King video that was posted that we just reviewed, ate a pound of raw liver. First day, super focused. Next couple of days, gut pain, diarrhea. The second commenter says, won't kill you. Well, it's very unlikely to kill you. Only thing I'd be worried about is that retailers tend to move organ meat at snail's pace. So can't tell if they're promoting it or not here. Liver is full of nutrients, but you need to cook the liver. Food poisoning can be pretty serious. It can be anywhere from having just mild amounts of diarrhea to going to the hospital and sometimes even death. So you really don't want to mess with food poisoning if you can avoid it. There are much better ways to get in the nutrients that are in liver than having raw liver. Before we talk about some alternatives, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to hit the like button and comment below. What is your experience with liver? Have you had it? Have you never had it before? And have you heard of this Liver King controversy? And what are some of your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. And if you have any other topics, controversy, or nutrition questions for me, definitely leave them below as well, because I love to hear from you and I love to make videos that you guys enjoy. All right, let's talk about some potential alternatives. So maybe you're in the camp of, hey Katie, I still want to have liver, but is there a way that I can have it that's a little less miserable than having raw liver? And the answer is yes. So they actually make some dry liver supplements that you can take. They're in the form of a powder, kind of similar to collagen or protein powder, stuff like that. Probably less tasty than those two things, but nonetheless. Now, what I would say is make sure you are getting it from a very trusted brand. And when I say trusted brand, I don't mean the Liver King's brand. I mean having a brand that is GMP certified, which means essentially that they test for purity and that it has only what it says on the label. So you are getting the most quality product and you're not getting any weird stuff that it doesn't say, which can be a problem when you are looking at supplements. I have several favorite supplement companies, but most of them didn't have this liver powder when I did my research. The only one that I came across is Now Foods, and I'll leave a link to it in the description below if you want to check it out, because again, it's not that I recommend liver powder necessarily. I haven't found enough evidence to promote it to my own clients, but if you're someone who wants to have liver in your diet, then I just recommend having it from either a cooked source of liver or a quality supplement like this one. So again, I'll leave it in the description below, including my favorite supplements that are not liver supplements in the description. Your second option is to simply have a multivitamin. I know, so boring. But here's the thing, guys. You don't need to overdo it on things like vitamin A and copper and other things like that. You want to have the adequate amount. That's why we have RDIs, our recommended daily intakes, is because our body needs a certain amount that is optimal, and it changes depending on whether you're a male or a female. More is not always better. You really just want to have what your body needs and nothing more, unless you are deficient, in which case that can be a little bit different, but you need to talk to your doctor or dietitian to get actual specific recommendations, not just WebMD recommendations and not Carnivore MD recommendations either, because that's for another video. You just can't beat having a variety in your diet, from lean proteins that are cooked, whole grains, fruits, veggies, legumes, and you notice that I'm saying from different sources. Yes, there are some foods that are packed with nutrients like liver, but getting everything from one source is not ideal. We are humans and we're built to have a variety in our diet, not just get our nutrients from one specific source. And here's another video that I think you guys will potentially enjoy seeing. I kind of got a kick out of it because I was just like, this is so ridiculous. But so far we know that the Liver King has raw organ meats. He also says that he has yogurt sometimes, which again, I'm kind of surprised that he admits to liking yogurt, but then he's not okay with other things. And then his Liver King bars include almond butter and protein blend, stuff like that. So it sounds like he's okay with this types, like the fats and the proteins, and not so much the carbohydrates. Here's a video that I think you guys will get a kick out of if, you know, if you think this guy's a nut.
Liver King says, why would you eat a vegetable when you can eat a testicle? Well, here's the answer.
You guys know vegetables like this chard are bullshit. They are full of defense chemicals. This is full of isothiocyanates that are going to inhibit iodine absorption at the level of your thyroid. That is garbage. Get that out of there. We got some spinach over there, full of oxalates. Vegetables, least sought after foods by humans throughout our existence. Focus on animal meat and organs if you want to thrive. Leave the vegetables for the cows.
Liver King, out.
Don't worry, I'll also have a video on the Carnivore MD in one of his videos coming up pretty soon. So look out for that, because it's so frustrating seeing this out on the internet. But yes, there are even people that think that vegetables are bad for you, and it is such it's not even like I want to laugh at it, but at the same time I'm frustrated by it, because it projects so much misinformation out there about things that are so good for you, and promoting things that are, sure, like organ meats may not hurt you, but it's not really the main focus that we should have in our diet. Balance is just so much better and more achievable, and what we should really be striving for. And I feel like people like the Liver King and the Carnivore MD, which you saw in the video just now, are promoting this nonsense misinformation and pulling out things like research study titles and big words to make things sound legitimate and like they're the truth, when actually they're misrepresenting the studies that they're actually pulling from. And again, that's for a whole different video, but yes, this guy is promoting, long story short, that you shouldn't have vegetables, you shouldn't have any types of junk foods, but yet he's saying that having raw organ meats is okay. So this video isn't necessarily to just bash him for no reason. I just think that it's time that we grow some awareness to the problem of these guys out there, or whoever it is out there that's selling and promoting a product, and at the same time really spewing some nonsense misinformation. And I think one thing that often gets really overlooked in this conversation is how truly unsustainable agriculturally this would be if everyone went from this magical diet of all meats and just converted overnight, and no longer had any whole grains, no longer had fruits, no longer had any vegetables. First of all, we'd all be at a lot higher risk of heart attack and stroke and other heart-related issues. But secondly, we'd be undernourished in so many different ways, and agriculturally we would not be able to sustain this long term. Think of all the resources that go into creating meats for purchase. That's why you see a lot of times the go vegan once per week or something like that, because just those small tweaks to having a little bit less meat than we normally do in the standard American diet, it makes such a big impact on our carbon footprint and on, you know, the sustainability of the types of things that we're doing agriculturally and just the emissions that we put out into the world. I won't pretend to be an expert on this topic. Maybe I'll have to bring in someone that is more of an expert on this so we can talk about it more. But it's seriously a big concern, and one of the big red flags that I just see in this is like, okay, say that you convince the whole world that this is the perfect diet. We would literally be destroying the earth if we did it that way, not to mention destroying our bodies as well, slowly but surely. It's just frustrating as a dietitian who really wants the best for her clients and audience to see guys like this rise to fame so quickly and be able to spread that message. I mean, it's really the whole reason that I decided to do YouTube in the first place, is not necessarily that I wanted to be in the spotlight or anything like that. It's simply that I wanted to be able to be a voice of reason amongst all the craziness out there on the internet. Nutrition should not just be for the charlatans of the internet, it should be for the people who actually care and are ethical practitioners. So yes, like while I don't like being lumped in with like, oh, you're a YouTube dietitian, like cool. I don't like being lumped in with the other health community people out there because oftentimes they are charlatans, oftentimes they are just people that don't really care about your health. They care about taking your money, and it's not just in a business sense either. Like, I understand as a business owner myself, you have to make money. So I don't think the pursuit of making money, doing what you love and spreading your message is a bad thing. It's when you take unethical practices and literally go against your code of ethics as a doctor, a dietitian, whatever you are, and use that information to sell misinformation and harmful information. That's when it really gets me. So I feel like we kind of went from a structured thoughts and feelings on this to a kind of rant at the end. I hope you guys learned a thing or two from this video, and I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section below and what you'd like me to review or react to in the future. The purpose of this channel and the purpose of these videos is to help educate and help you make the best decision for your health. I want you to be able to fuel your body in a way that's sustainable, healthy, and realistic, not something that's just going to stretch your limits and, you know, be the craziest, most profound new thing. Typically, what I find is the more crazy it sounds, the more, oh my gosh, this is the next coolest thing, the more like that it is, the less likely it is to work long term. And the less likely it is to be about health, and the greater chance it is to be about like the diet industry profiting off of it. So I hope this resonates with some of you, and if you want to check out more information on what I like to recommend for my clients, including mindful eating and functional nutrition, then check out the description below for my free masterclass on mindful eating and food freedom. And you can also check out the different ways to work with me there as well. If you want to keep hanging out on the channel, then stick around and click or tap the screen to head on over to the next video. Bye guys.